On this episode of the GH Report, it is the episode you have demanded. It is just Ladine and I. Lank is in the house. Oh, and Dr. Andre takes his shirt off and walks around in a towel in George's place. But whatever. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, Afterbuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, look at that. As always, when you hear that music, it can mean only one thing. That's right, it is time for the GH Report here Sunday at AfterBuzz TV. Look at this.
Yes.
There's only two. The combination that we've been waiting forever to make happen.
Lank.
That's right. Lank and, we've got Lank in the house covering this week's goings-on in Port Charles. So hi, everybody. Welcome to the GH Report. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. And, of course, to my left is the woman that without her you couldn't spell Lank. It'd be impossible.
Aww.
Ladine Harvey.
Hi guys, you can find me on Twitter at Ladine_Harvey and Facebook at Ladine Corinthos Harvey.
When's that changing to when's Moran getting put in there?
Soon as I get a divorce from Sonny,
Oh.
but that may not happen.
Man, all
very
right.
soon. Just hang in there, Frank.
Now, Lucretia and James are gone this week, but they should be back here next week. Actually, at least for sure, Lucretia, perhaps James. It is a holiday weekend, after all. People have plans, things that take them out.
Yeah.
But rest assured, Ladine and I for sure will be here.
We're gonna hold it down.
Oh, yeah, maybe you got a double dose of Lank. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But as always, folks, you can like us on Facebook. You can give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Get on the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the channel. Also, hop in the chat. We've got the chat running both on Ladine's phone and Alexis, the lovely and talented Alexis in the booth.
Lexi.
Sorry, I was trying to do some stuff back here.
Nope,
you
she's
know.
so lovely and
Good job.
talented. That's it. No. Alexis Alexis in the booth as well, and this mic is falling like this. I like it.
It just wants you to just get nice and close.
Yeah, that's right.
As James Lott Jr. would say, fillet the mic.
She's got the chat running up as well, so feel free to hop in the chat. I'm going to talk English for the
Yes,
rest of this
you will.
episode.
Please.
But
Thank you.
buddy.
But hop in the chat and share your thoughts about what happened this week in Port Charles. And in the meantime, Lady and I will talk a little bit about the goings-on.
Oh yeah.
Now, I was not here last week, so I did not get to chime in on some stuff that happened there in Port Charles. I will just say, because I know people think like, hey, what drove Frank crazy this week in Port
Yeah.
Charles? Usually I'm there to rant about something. If I had been here last week, I would have gone bonkers on the Jason Sam, do I have malaria?
Oh,
What's
yeah,
my deal?
yeah.
That was
They just have to
awful.
make sure that, nothing is wrong or have any complications with the baby.
Oh my gosh.
But I do agree that it did drag on for,
so
minute too
unnecessarily. It's what I feel about that is when you think like 2 years ago when Jason's back, but he's Jake Doe. Nobody knows exactly who he is, and everybody's just like, when are they going to get together? When are they going to get together? When are we going to get Jason back? Is this what you wanted, folks? Is this what you wanted? Like 2 years ago when you're complaining, this is what you have now.
I just don't understand why, they did put the malaria stuff in it and then nobody got it. So then it was kind of just like there and then gone.
Yes.
I wish someone would have went through it so we could see like what the effects would have been if one of them had it. You know what I mean? But it just came and left, so it was like blah.
But I'm also wondering, like, great hot malaria. Is malaria like malaria outbreak? Is that like something really, really happening
Is it?
today?
I
Like
don't
a lot of
know.
people like man, this is a hot button topic. Let's get it into the show. I really don't know a lot about people getting malaria these days. So that actually just drove me so bonkers. Oh man! And basically, anytime that Jason or Sam pretty much on, I don't because I watch every frame. But I want to fast forward so bad because I just know it's just going to be a bunch of nonsense.
You think so?
Yeah, there's just nothing going. I do not care about any wedding that they're going to do. Any wedding prep.
I think the only thing that we just have to hope is that they give them a different direction after they get married. I feel like that's the only thing that may keep them alive with the GH because right now they're a little dead. They're under the radar right now.
I mean, I guess, but there was such a buildup to them getting reunited, and then they get reunited, and then they have just fizzled.
I noticed during one of the episodes when they told Sonny and Carly that they were getting married, and then Carly was like, finally you got it together, or why, like something she said, and I was thinking like, no, finally he got his memory back. Because if he didn't get his memory back, he'll still be with Elizabeth. So I was just like, just cut it out.
So we will start off, as I said a little bit in the tease, but I'm sure what was Ladine's favorite moment this week was we have Jordan coming back to her place. It's dark. It's late at night. She opens the door. Wait, there's somebody in her place? Who could it be? Well,
Who could it be?
Oh, my goodness. It's a man in a towel and a smile.
I was thinking, like, even the way she went about, like, you know, pulling out the gun, and I was just like, girl.
I know. You had Dr. Andre Maddox there in the house, just, you know, a little smile, a little towel.
Dropping his towel.
Oh, yeah.
She said, freeze, put your hands up.
That's right. There you go. All right. So for you, you're living by yourself. You come home. You know, your man. You know, you've clearly given the keys already. You reached that point in your relationship, but he's in there. He's just coming out of the shower and just waiting for a new towel. Good move, bad move. Like, well, what are you doing, dude?
Why would you put me on the spot like that?
Just asking a question, lady. All right. All right, Ladine. Yes.
It'll probably be, well, if I gave him the key, it'll be a good move. But, you know, I guess she forgot she gave someone the key to her apartment.
Yeah, well, you know, it's she's got a lot on her mind right now. Jordan's another one that's really driving me bonkers as well.
Right, she'll say she gave him the key. Like, did she forget? That's what I just said. She must have forgot.
Oh man, yeah, it's well, you know, she didn't. She remembered enough to be able to take off that towel and hop back in the sack with good old Dr. Andre.
Hey.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm not really feeling about these two is that now they're mixing business with pleasure, and that never goes right.
Well, that's true. I mean, especially it seems with this case because Jordan is kind of preoccupied with finding that cufflink,
Right.
and the little Roman coin that's on the front of it, and so. But that whole scene seemed kind of weird because like she has the files just hanging out like open next to her bed and stuff.
Well, it's her home.
Well, yeah, but if it was so like I can't really share this as an ongoing investigation, then you know put it away somewhere then.
Right.
So, you know if you're gonna have somebody there.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah?
Yeah,
All right.
I think so.
Okay, but Dr. Andre he says like, my gosh, you know that key that the cufflink looks really familiar. I swear I've seen that somewhere before.
I just hope that they're not gonna make him the killer.
Yeah,
Because, I don't know, when Jordan said something about it, he kind of gave like a little look insinuating that, you know, oh, it could be you.
Yeah, well, because the way that it was written, where Jordan's like, I swear, it's just like it's under my
Oh my
nose, and I can't. I'm so scared. Like,
I was just like, please don't.
Oh,
Don't.
my- Cheryl, I do like Cheryl. I'm leaning towards him being the killer. It would be at a whole new aspect of
Oh
their
my gosh.
relationship.
I think I would die if, like, what is his motive for doing it if Andre was the killer?
If they did that to Andre, though, I mean, that would such a way to just like sandbag that character because he had such potential, especially with Anna and the relationship there, and that's kind of been put on hold while Finola Hughes is off the show right now.
A part of me is hoping that it's no one that we're currently seeing on GH and that they're possibly bringing someone in, because I can't see anyone right now that would be the killer.
But does that make a bit of a cheat that if all of a sudden like you find out the killer is somebody we really don't even know? I mean, it doesn't have as much impact. Where it's like, oh, it's just this weird dude that
but
we've
my
never
heart
seen.
can't take anyone that's on there, like who they're pointing to. I'm like, please, no, don't do it to them.
No, I mean, once they got rid of Dr. Mays, I mean, that took like probably the only other person that had been at least a little bit on the show enough that you maybe
Right.
could have thought that was the killer. But now with him removed,
I don't know. I'm ready for this cufflink story to be over. I just want to know who it is already.
Yeah, it has been dragging out, and I'm tired of like I don't need any more scenes around the nurse's station. People saying a lot of people calling in sick. You know, a lot of people don't want to come to work because there's a killer here.
Right. So ridiculous.
Yeah. So please just let's hit fast forward on that button. You know, actually, another storyline that I could stand to hit fast forward on is what's the deal with Nell? Okay, so Nell's hanging out with Carly. Carly, also the nanny comes over with baby Ava and baby Avery, and makes a comment about Carly's earrings. I'm like, oh my gosh, boy, I wish I could afford those. Yes, don't you think so? That's
She had to have, because right after Carly, fired the babysitter, she wants to now hold Avery and you know, she has a master plan going on. We can obviously see that.
But she's playing, which is interesting that the show hasn't tipped a hand, because usually you'd see at least like maybe everybody leaves the scene and then it's just her,
Right.
And then she has that kind of like moment of like or something like. There's been nothing of that yet.
No, just her in the back with Sonny and Carly. You know, even the thing with her job firing her supervisor. What's that about? Because she was supposed to leave, but she knows that Carly is going to say, you know what, just stay with me, or stay at the Metro Court.
Oof. Yeah, I just feel like I don't know what her game plan is or what her agenda is, but clearly she's got something up.
She's angry about something.
I mean, why? Just because, like, how could she be angry about the kidney? Well, I think it has to do with Jax. If anything, she'd be angry because they haven't figured out what Jax's involvement is yet.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure she's angry, and Jax is going to be having something to do with that, like a direction for that anger for her.
I saw someone earlier when I first got in the chat room that they said that Nell may be either, you know, feeling some way because of Jax or Sonny, but obviously not because of Carly, because, you know, she's, you know, talking to Carly and things like that. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't see it as a Sonny thing. I feel like it has to tie back into this whole kidney thing, because the way that it all went down, according to her backstory with her family, and Sonny did check it out and figure out at least the dates and everything match. Mm-hmm. So I figure since Jax is so concerned about how much Nell knows and what she doesn't know,
right,
that I figure like it's got to, whatever anger she has is gonna, once she figures out Jax is the man responsible, it's gonna be directed towards him. Which I think seems weird, because Jax is somebody that's not an ongoing character. He's just back here for a little while and then he's gonna be off, which is a shame, because I'd love to have Jax around full time. Ugh, yeah. So with that. But we also get to see, man, another great scene between Ava and Carly. Just, you know, those two cannot be civil around each other.
They can't
to save their lives.
But I mean, it's a great connection between the two characters. Like their animosity towards each other is obviously, like, even if they don't say anything, the room is just hot with those two. So I like it that way.
But I feel like I'm also tired of the scenes. Like, how many times does Ava come over, and Avery is already in bed? And just like,
I know.
Come over sooner.
I don't know. I don't know why they always
sooner.
do that. But I do think that Ava did use Avery this time around.
Yes.
To come over. I don't believe that she really came over to get Avery this time, because usually when she come in, she's all about Avery. Let me get her and leave. Like, I don't need you to say anything to me. But this time she was like, you know, I'm just gonna go upstairs. I already knew she was going to Morgan's room.
Yeah. Well, I would just think that if she's had so many of these scenes where she's come over and tried to get Avery and she's always in bed, that's the excuse that why I don't want to disturb her, then just come earlier.
Right?
Just come 2 hours earlier.
Come at your scheduled time.
Yeah.
Because Carly always mentioned, you're late. You're late. So come on time.
Yeah, so as Ladine's saying, we got Ava heads up to Morgan's room, starts mixing up his pills and stuff. Man.
She's meddling too. I can't say it enough. Right now, I'm really disliking, you know, Ava. Yeah, and what they're doing with her character.
Like, this is definitely a step too far, for sure.
Way too far.
You know, and it's one thing to just, I mean, if you want to, I mean, I think as a parent, you've got, you know, you care about your child, so you will share your opinion, even if it's unwanted. You've been told multiple times, like, I don't want to hear it. But still, as a parent, you're like, I'm still going to give it, even if you don't want to hear it.
You could, I mean, no one's saying, like, she can't, you know, give her advice to Kiki or tell her what she think is best for her, but don't mess with someone's medication. Now you're going too far. Now it will obviously be a problem, and she's the one hurting Kiki more than Morgan is right now.
And it's a shame, because I mean, you know, she and Morgan have they were in love at one point. They had a very strong connection. So for her to really do this to him, just out of betrayal.
Right.
Yeah. But we see Morgan, at least, you know, while he's on his meds right now, he's
been able to seem like it.
He's able to hold his cool, though, because he does get in a little scuffle there at the coffee perk. Yes. But I like that he showed restraint. I mean, he just did a lot of the sidearm.
That's how you know that he probably took his first pill of the morning, and then it was starting to wear off, but he was still feeling like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this. So I respect him for that.
But could they have found, like, just more of a stereotypical knucklehead to come over and start giving Kiki a hard time?
Man, who is he?
Man, I make six figures. I make six
I
figures.
was like, okay, so
Like,
what do you want?
How many people talk like that still today? I don't know.
I don't know any.
Oof. Like, all right. So that whole scene was just so crazy.
Yeah.
And then the faux, like, is it going to be a fight? Is it not? It's just so drawn out.
It was just like them tussling. You could obviously see like none of them were gonna like, if they're gonna fight, just fight and get it over with. But they were just like, scuffling around. I was just, okay, can we end this?
The Kiki's
please?
movements, because I mean, she does the smart thing. She calls Sonny just to give him a heads up, but then she just kind of just stands
Just
there.
stands there and watch.
Yeah, that seems so
It
weird
was
to me.
very awkward. It was even awkward for me to watch her call Sonny. Like, what, Sonny is a block away or something?
Yeah.
He was home about to have dinner, and I knew that once he got there, it was probably going to be over. I didn't understand it.
They still, though, I will say there's just something magical about Port Charles space and time, because people can get around the world, around the block, just within matter of minutes, where I just think this is just improbable in real time.
Right.
Like the way that from that call to him being there, I was like, come on,
Yeah,
really?
I agree.
I mean, I guess somebody needs to make it just a big, huge map of Port Charles where I could just see in relation to where everything is, because I can't imagine Sonny is living that close to the docks.
I see Shannon said, having said that, let us not forget Kiki and Morgan messed with Michael's meds.
Yeah, they did
Two
that too.
wrongs don't make a right, though.
No, that's very true.
Just want to tell you that, Shannon. He don't deserve it. I don't think no one deserves that.
Not to mess with the medication. I mean, it's just let them. I don't. This relationship is not long for the world. Even if you didn't mess with the medication, I just think they're just. Kiki's heart is not really. Her heart's genuinely not in it. I think I'm waiting to see when she gets to that moment where she will put her foot down and say, like,
Right.
I can't continue to do this.
I know that I'm like jumping very far right now, but she, just like you see how Christina had to get to that point where she had to really find out everything for herself and hear it for herself. Now she's coming to the realization that she's going to leave Parker alone. Kiki has to kind of go through that same thing where she has to have enough of her own. Not someone telling her, leave him alone. She has to go through these motions to finally say, you know what, I'm better than this.
Yeah. All right. So that makes a good segue, because I would think like neither storyline's that great, and because I think we're just waiting time until Kiki gets together with Dylan. But at least the thing I like about this, as opposed to Christina and Parker, is that you're seeing all sides of this story.
Right.
You're seeing all the characters, seeing Kiki, Dylan, and Morgan, and you know how they're thinking, what they're doing, what their true intentions are, at least. So that makes you easier to understand what's happening. But I feel like with Kiki and Parker's not a regular character. So all these things that are happening with Parker, like we can't really invest in it because. So Christina goes and visits her at school. Oh, I must have accidentally dialed you. Oh, I'm trying to get back together with my wife. Like, okay, great. Sure. We've never met this wife. We don't know anything about you,
Right.
really. So I don't have as much investment in that. But I do agree with you. Like,
Right.
finally her seeing it for herself makes
The
her
only
understand.
reason why I have investment in it because, when we're growing up, sometimes we don't want to listen to. I'm the type of person where I want to experience my life. I'll listen to my mom, but I'll experience my life, and then when things go wrong, I'll say, dang, I should have listened. And I feel like Christina is going through that point. Alexis told her what it was, but she still wanted to keep going back to Parker because Parker hadn't given her any information about, if they were going to continue or not. So she kept her hopes high.
No, I mean, I can understand that. It's like I don't want us to not be together because my mom has driven us apart. It's like she has to be the one to make that decision.
Right.
Like, okay, we're not together now. For her to really understand it, I found this storyline just not as interesting because we never really got to see anything really from Parker's side of stuff.
Right.
Only what she says.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I see Taylor Jones says, is Alexis annoying anyone else? Is she annoying? No. Is she stressed out? Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as she says, to Jordan this week, which is like, she's very tense at the moment.
That was one of my favorite scenes. Like, Jordan has been like, she was pushing some buttons in that room, And I'm glad that Alexis took her stand and said, you know what? No, and I didn't believe she was, doing that whole scene on purpose, or she was just trying to handle her daughter, obviously, and someone caught the moment.
Yes.
But for them, I feel like for them to think that she tried to set that up
Oh,
after they set her up, y'all better go on. Jordan better go somewhere with that.
man, Jordan, those are the moments where I find Jordan irritating as a character. Like,
Yeah.
why is she just assuming these really ridiculous premises? And she's done that several times with various people, where she just assumes motivations for people, or the fact, and I've mentioned this before, if they immediately decide, hey, I'd like to get my lawyer in the room, like,
Right.
or I don't want to talk to you unless I have an attorney present. She immediately assumes like, well, if you weren't guilty, you talk to us. Like, no, you're your rights. I have
Right.
rights, and just because I want to just stand by my rights does not make me guilty. Just makes me like I'm just protecting myself.
Right.
Ugh,
I agree.
And she just assumes, oh, then you must be something. Don't leave town. Like, ugh, whatever with you, Jordan. Ooh, yeah. So, Christina and Parker, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, do you want, I don't imagine anything coming of this. I mean, I'd like to think, like, this is a definitive ending.
I hope that this is like the ending of Christina and Parker and there's no more back and forth. I just feel like Christina just needs to not be in no relationship. She don't need to explore. She don't need to do none of that. She just need to be by herself for a minute.
Yeah, it's just like, I wonder, like, there's so many people on the canvas for this show that
Right.
if she's not in any sort of potential relationship storyline, I mean, I guess she's working at the coffee park.
Right. I mean, pretty much everyone in the chat room is saying that Christina needs to explore, but she's been exploring and there's still nothing coming out of it. You understand? The guy, at the coffee shop with her, and then Parker, she did exploring.
Maybe Nell's back. Nell's on the show. Maybe her and Nell.
No.
What?
No.
No?
No.
No? I don't know. Why
She just
not?
need to be by herself for a minute.
All right.
And then, figure it out.
Well, Christina did have a week there because as we're talking a little bit about Alexis, kind of segues between Alexis and Christina and Parker. Molly decides to try to broker a truce, a little rapprochement meal there with Alexis and Christina over at the Metro because that's where all great meetings
I
have.
am loving that GH is making the younger sister, younger daughter, the voice of reason. Molly is holding her ground with her sister and with her mom, and I'm loving the words and the encouragement that she's given and trying to make these two come back together as mother and daughter. Even though it went a little bad.
Yeah, and so when they first get to the Metro Court, there's a reporter from TMI, which I assume is pretty much like the TMZ
I thought that too.
the TMZ of that.
I said, come on, guys.
But
TMZ.
what I originally thought it was going to be is, and what I hope is, since Alexis is basically, she's under suspension for a year, that TMI was coming to her to approach her to be a talking head for their network to talk about legal cases.
That would have been good.
We could
That
have
would
seen
have been a great little direction.
Yeah,
I agree.
that would have been interesting to see Alexis being a talking head, so she gets to talk about the law, can be tangentially involved with it and everything. But I mean, doesn't have to be. She has at least some kind of purpose
Right.
or something to do. Because I feel like Alexis is somebody that does not thrive well when she just has nothing to do, and she's just sitting at home. She has no career to pursue right now. Her daughters
She's just
are.
in a bad place.
Yeah, so I was hoping that was going to be, but they did not go that route. Instead, they wanted a comment. Alexis gave her the brush off, and so what I liked is that the guy, he didn't leave the restaurant. And it's like,
Right.
come on, Alexis, you couldn't see the guy just sitting like 15
Right
feet away from
across.
you.
Nope.
With his phone record, like
That was so
even when they got up, he literally adjusted himself.
Yes.
Oh no, it was so horrible.
Yeah, so when Alexis and Christina, get a little tense and a little heated, Christina walks away. Alexis grabs her. For some reason, I felt in that moment that it's like, all right, Alexis. I mean, I didn't disagree with what Alexis did. I mean, she wasn't doing it maliciously, but just trying to get her,
Right
her
to
daughter's-
wake up.
Yeah.
Hello, no.
Yes, and so, but of course, a picture says 1,000 words, so you can easily make a picture seem to be anything that you want it to be,
Right.
and so everybody
That's where
assumes the
she
worst.
messed up, right?
Yeah, so Jordan calls her to the carpet, which I loved as we were talking about there. I love that scene where Alexis just tells Jordan to go to hell.
Why Jordan trying to act like she's Alexis' mom or something? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, and I liked how she had said several times, may I remind you, I don't work for you.
She said it a lot of times, and I was like, say it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, say that again.
Yes.
Because I don't think she got it.
I do not work for you. You can go to hell. You can go to hell. I'm like, all right. And then I'm going to awkwardly leave on this pull open door. That was such an awkward exit out of that room. Like, oh, all right. Somebody make sure those the hinges on those doors are oiled, because that was a little stilted and weird and awkward getting out. And as much as I will give Jordan a slight little benefit of the doubt on all this, because it's one thing that I had forgotten. I mean, certainly she's been around for a couple years, but it wasn't until that she was having the conversation with Andre, where she says, back when I first came here, I was undercover trying to bust Julian and Jerome, and I really, I shattered my relationship with my child,
Right.
my son, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like it was a nice little reminder. It's like even I had forgotten. Like, I mean, I knew that's how she came on the show, but I just kind of like forgotten that for a
The
while.
extent of, I agree.
So I could understand why she's so motivated to make sure Julian pays, because she gave up so much of her life trying to capture him or arrest him. So
Right.
I could see why this matters, but come on. I mean, to accuse Alexis of faking all this to try to get Julian off, I mean,
Right.
She botched her whole, police force, botched that thing.
I guess Alexis has her reason why she absolutely won't, jeopardize her testifying against Julian. But then they also have a reason to think that she would, because let's not forget she did know, about Julian in certain situations. She stayed in it, so.
I can understand, but man, it's like when Jordan, when Jordan botches the investigation, she wore a wire for Jordan, but then Julian finds out and then puts a knife to her throat.
That's
Like she
what
says,
she
like,
said, right.
come on. Like, yeah,
Right.
there's no way that, Alexis is too smart of a woman to keep sticking around with Julian. As much as Julian would say, like, she still loves me. She still loves me. Julian, man.
Julian,
what?
give it a break, please.
And then Sonny comes over to kind of read her the riot act. He's got the picture on his phone, like, hey, what is this? I'm not going to leave until I get some answers.
I don't feel like that was necessary.
How are you going to make this right? How are you going to make this right?
I was like, Sonny Boo, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
I said, I feel like Sonny's like parenting, just like you just like, I like Alexis standing up to Sonny too, like, I don't work for you.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of you.
Those are her favorite words this week. She's like, I don't care about none of y'all, okay? That's her attitude this week.
The only thing that she felt that she was excited about, though, was being Sam's maid of honor.
Yeah, that was a cute little scene.
I don't care. I really don't care about this wedding.
Right.
I don't care. I do not care about this wedding. Just please, just move on to something interesting with their lives. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm now getting back into that Jason
I just
Sam
feel like
thing.
it's not going to go right. I mean, the wedding's probably not going to go right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a question of how it's not going to go right. And I hope it doesn't go right. If it goes right, then we're just in store for more dull moments between Jason and Sam.
I agree.
So something's got to go wrong, and something interesting's got to happen.
For me, talking about this whole wedding situation, when Jason asked Sonny to be his best man, it kind of wasn't believable to me. Like, I just didn't feel that connection between them two. They haven't even been around each other or, all that much. So I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. I wasn't happy. I'm usually very happy about, the Jason-Sonny duo. But when he asked him to be his best man, I just didn't feel like it was special or...
Yeah, because I think certainly with the recast with Billy Miller, I mean, at least the one thing it did is it showed it was easier to buy into Jason having amnesia because it's a different actor, he's got facial reconstruction, but they did do things where they set him around Elizabeth, they set him around Sam, they set him around Carly, they started forging just new relationships, new friendships with all of them, so that they still had some emotional connection to all of them, but Sonny not really. I mean, Sonny didn't care for Jake Doe at all. Until he got his memory back. So I feel like this is a time where the recast and the way they've handled it with Sonny has not really worked out. So that now that he's supposed to be Jason with all his memories intact, I agree with you. You
It's
don't
not the
find
same.
that. Yeah.
And I feel like they should probably just cut the friendship, maybe. Because he obviously doesn't want to work in the mob again. Like, just start slowly separating these two. Like, don't,
No, that's true. Yeah. I mean, because it's certainly now if they have another child on the way, there's
just
no
let him
way
have
that.
his own life with Sam, and we just don't. I mean, we don't see much of Sonny and Jason, so it wouldn't really matter.
How many times have we talked about on the show, though, that like Jason and Sam should be just doing corporate work for ELQ? They can be, it should be corporate detectives, things like that. Basically like security, what Jason was doing when he was Jake Doe. That just seemed to be more interesting as storylines potentially.
It is.
And that is something that we've said time and time again, and just feel like, again, like the relationship side with the ELQ is just kind of just dropped away. Ever since he gave them back like the company, like really has not been any interaction with ELQ at all.
I see that TR738 said, I wish he asked Michael to be his best man.
Ooh, that would have been a nice choice.
I think that would have been better than asking.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, because they had more of a connection when he came back as Jake. I agree. That's a good call. That would have been a better one to go for. But instead, we'll see them getting married at the terrace.
Yeah.
And what a great! So that's the terrace. That's that backyard little thing they get to. They get married right there. All right, cool, got it. Now, speaking of pregnancies, we've got Sam pregnant, but then we had Dante and Lulu. Ooh, another storyline I am not a fan of.
I don't want to talk about them.
All right, you don't?
No.
All right.
Oh, and Michael B said Frank should write for GH.
Yes! All right, get me in that writer's room, man. Come on. I would love it.
Right?
Oh, yes. Because one storyline I'd like to drop off is just the Dante and Lulu, and we got to have a baby.
Why? I'm not understanding why, they're taking that away from Lulu.
I mean,
don't take it away from her. Just let her have it. This is what she's been talking about forever. Let her have it so we can get over this whole baby thing.
I mean, I guess that, seeing just the scenes that we saw from next week with Lulu talking with Robert Scorpio, talking about, hey, we want to find out if that embryo survived the destruction of the building when they came down from where the Cassadines were running it, or Jason got his memories altered and stuff. So maybe that embryo somehow survived the explosion, is still viable, perhaps. And I also feel like it still has to tie in somehow to Helena's thing, because they know there's an address there in Cassadine Island. So
somebody mentioned that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe is there a baby there?
I don't know. Taylor Jones said, "Watch Helena resurrect from the dead at J. Sam's wedding."
Yes,
that'll be so funny.
All right, Michael B, forget that. We're gonna be yes, we're having her join the writing staff for that, because I want to see that storyline. That'd be great. It's just. I don't know. This has never been the most exciting part of Dante and Lulu. I don't know. They've had moments to make Lulu more of a Spencer. We've talked about that before with on Cassadine Island, where she just made dumb moves and it's just like, all right. So much for being Luke Spencer's daughter. You just basically just ran back in and acted like a fool and just gave your gun up.
I just want to see Dante back, working at the police station, doing some work, not, constantly laid up under Lulu. While she crying about, this whole baby thing.
No, and
it's just taken away from Dante, and I like him as a character. I do.
And I mean, many people struggle to have children. Many people, so I am not one to be able to comment on that. I can't speak to those people, but I also feel like you're also fortunate enough to have one baby.
Well, exactly.
And many people don't even get that far. So, boy, just be thankful you've got that incredible blessing in your life, and just really appreciate that.
Take care of that one first. Where's that baby?
I don't he's off somewhere. He's
you want another one, Lulu? No. No. It's just give them something else to talk about besides. But then I figure if they're not talking about babies, then I don't know what they're talking about. I imagine if they're not talking about babies or making a baby, then they just sit quietly in their home, silently, never talking to each other. They finally got the new home. Because before it was home and the baby. Now they got the new home and now it's the baby. So
so when they get done with the baby talk, then they just sit quietly, snack on some chips or something.
Be on screen for a while.
So I feel like so far I was hoping these Helena, they're really taking their time drawing out what these Helena's teases were in her will. Taking forever to draw some of these things out, and I'm hoping some of them, I think I'd love for them to start moving along because man, the pacing on some of these storylines with GH is just killing me. Some things like which is great happen quickly, and the other things just drag out forever.
Right. I like Laura's storyline right now. What they're doing
all
with
right.
her.
Let's get into this.
I like it.
All right, so we got Laura and Dr. K. I mean, good old Dr.
Got a
Kevin
little
Collins.
hot up in there.
Yes.
I was a little uncomfortable, but I was like, I guess they, could still do their thing or whatever.
Well, I mean, one thing I like there is that, Laura, she was ferocious on Hayden last time about, like, hey, don't you think you're going to be, trying to pick my son's bones? You see what I can do. And then Kevin says, hey, why don't we just go out on a date? Let me take your mind off of things. And she's reluctant to do it, but Liz says, hey, come on, you got to get out there. You got to do something.
Right.
So they go, and then he says, hey, you want to come back to my room for a nightcap?
I was like, ew.
Because if somebody invites you up to the room for a nightcap, I mean, come on, that's pretty much just code. Like, it's
yeah,
going down.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I agree.
I mean, we're just saying that we're going to drink a little wine or
But
coffee, but it's...
yeah, I knew it was going to, well, I think we all knew that it was
The boots are going to be knocked.
going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for Laura, I guess.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, first they dragged it on and played some video games. That was great.
That was so cute, them playing the video games. That was like my favorite. I was, look at Laura playing video games.
I get to imagine Spencer probably plays a lot of games. So I feel like, she's a grandma that's in on it. She's cool. I mean, Lucky grew up playing video games, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I feel like she's dialed in on that.
But he screwed up.
Yeah, well, all right. So they have their little night of passion. Wake up, no regrets the next morning, and then when Kevin goes to go get something, something to drink for them, Laura just, as always, everybody gets klutzy in soap operas when a plot moment's supposed to happen because instead of just like lifting up the file folder, setting aside to pick up the magazine underneath, she just grabs a magazine, trying to be a magician, and of course the file falls on the ground. Like only in soap operas do people act like that. Anybody else would smartly would like, hey, let me just lift this up so I can pull out the magazine. No, I gotta just yank it like a dum dum. And then all these papers scattered on the ground, and Laura finds out that Kevin Collins has been writing a novel.
He's dead wrong.
What's killing me is that this kind of potential relationship has been just kind of teased and hinted at for so long, and then finally it dragged out forever. This is an example of like the slow storytelling with Helena and Laura and Kevin, and what are all this cryptography and stuff that took forever to really go anywhere. And even then, at the end, I mean, I don't know if Kevin really solved anything. He followed her to Cast That Island. But then they introduced this thing, like, it took so long to get them together. This is like one of the dumbest ways to kind of give them some kind of false breakup. Which I'm
You
like,
think so?
yes! Oh, this kills me. Again, this is another one of those things that would have maybe more resonance or more importance, so you could feel a sting of if we'd seen a couple scenes from Kevin's point of view to understand why he's doing that, why he decided not to tell Laura. Why
Maybe
was he
it's going to
reluctant.
happen after, but then it's going to be too late because, I mean, as a woman, of course, I'm more likely going to take Laura's side with, agreeing with the way she feel. Because if you're going to write something about me, someone that you say you care about, you should let me know.
Yeah, but I would just care about this decision or this scene so much more if I had seen a scene of Kevin Collins like struggling, thinking like, oh, I guess I'm gonna.
Okay. Yes. I see what
Set
you're
it
talking
up.
about.
Yeah, set it up a little bit for me now, so that when this moment happens, it has more importance, a little more gravity. Because right now it's just like, oh, it could have been anything. It's any arbitrary thing. Oh my gosh, Kevin, your twin brother's ex-wife from the future came back all of a sudden right here in this moment and told me something like. That it has as much gravity to what happened here because there's been nothing to set it all up. And I'm like, come on, guys, please just this story points will mean so much more if you set it up a little bit more for us for this because right now whatever.
Yeah.
So she went cold and like boom like that.
Of course, she just had a vulnerable moment with you.
Yeah.
And if we see anything that, make us feel like we're not going to trust you, we're not going to want to be around you.
It seems so, yeah. It also seems like that's why another reason it would be great to see it from a scene from Kevin's point of view because it does seem out of character for him not to divulge what he'd done. I mean, he's all about trying to be as a therapist, psychologist, I mean, just he knows how important trust is in any sort of repairing any sort of sense of normalcy in somebody's life.
Right.
So for him not to show that same kind of trust and openness with Laura seems so bizarre to me. So if I had at least seen a scene or two to set that up, then maybe I could at least buy into why he did what he did.
Right.
But without that, I'm just like, okay, this seems weird, and this seems so out of character for Kevin Collins, and it seems so weird, and the writers are just sitting around a room going, what can we do to really kind of add a sense of like tension to this relationship?
It was just, I feel like it was only set up, of course, because Laura had to leave, or she is leaving, so they just had to just throw something in there, I guess, to make it easier for them to like part ways.
It's, or even if you were going to draw that, like have them be together for a little bit and then have Kevin, like, it could have been, she could have left the room. He could have then looked and he's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I really should tell her that I'm doing this. So we'd have some kind of like, all right, what's going on? Oh my gosh, she's doing this. This is not going to be, when she finds out, it's not going to be good.
Because in a split second, like, our heart was warm. We were very happy for Laura and Kevin, and then it was like, boom.
Yes.
Things just happened, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, now they're done for.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm hoping, because I feel like the fan response, it can't be just us. I think everybody, at least in the chat and everything, loved the fact that Laura and Dr. Collins are together.
Right.
So
I see that too.
Yeah.
Everyone saying that they love those two together.
And I feel like the writers got to realize what a great combo those two are. So, I mean, I feel like if they're smart, which sometimes his GH writers have not been with certain things, that this is just a momentary kind of bump in the road, and they're going to get back together. Mm-hmm. So, at least I hope so. Because if this is how they decided to just kind of end that, like, then what was the whole point for all this?
I see that Toph London, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, said, I think the large cast gets in the way of all the setup. Don't want anyone out of a job, but quit adding trim. What?
But quit adding and trim the fat a little.
Yeah, I think, okay.
I would agree. There's just some characters, and that's when you get to somebody like, like Valerie, unfortunately. It's just, she doesn't have much going on.
It's a lot, like she said, he or she said, it's a lot of people, and they're trying to give, like, everybody a little bit of TV time, but then it's affecting the storyline. Yeah,
I mean, there's no way to be able to give everybody equal amount of story and have it move along quickly, or at least in entertaining fashion when you have to service so many characters.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Nobody. I don't want to see an actor lose their job for this. But then just realistically, to tell a great show, man, I feel like GH is at the point where it would do better to cut back on a few cast members and just really start focusing on telling just more better paced stories.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, this is it's getting very frustrating. So as we're talking about, we've talked about Laura hanging out there. She's going to take Spencer. One person that's not happy about Laura taking Spencer to boarding school is Hayden. And Hayden and her mom this week. Oh, boy.
What is going on?
Yeah, well, all right. Well, I guess we'll tie this in also with Liz, too, because Liz goes to Castle Island just to check in, and all of a sudden this package gets delivered. And that was the weirdest thing to me, is that Liz was just like, who did this? Who did this?
I said, Liz, get back in the house, girl. What do you mean?
What do you mean, who did this?
She's calling out. Obviously, no one.
But the other thing, too, is like it has a label on it from a shipping company. So somebody shipped it here. So it was probably just the driver that dropped it off on the island.
Right.
Like, who else do you think dropped this off here? Who are you? Come back.
And then they open it. And
yes, and Ava comes by just to pay her respects as well. Like,
she's a little snake.
Oh,
I swear. Because I was believing her at first, like, but then I was like, she want his shoe?
Oh, and even that excuse is so lame. I got stuck in the mud and we had a good laugh.
She tried, though. She tried.
But then even Liz, like, that whole scene seemed weird because she's like, why? Any real person would look there. You're not going to, like, open up the shoes and, like, pull out everything and, like, fish around in them. Like, what are you doing, Liz? Like, the only reason you knew she was doing that is because she had to find the diamonds.
Right.
Because otherwise, I don't think anybody's going to be spending that much time, like, analyzing somebody else's shoe. Ugh, you would. But it's so interesting. So Ava's like, oh, Ava wanted those diamonds, man. She just wanted them because she knew they were. If nobody knew about them, she'd be sitting pretty with a bunch of diamonds. She got a little greedy there, and Elizabeth said, no. I gotta turn in Hayden for this.
I wonder if she's really gonna do it.
She's gonna get prevented, I'm sure.
Cause I was trying to figure out why did she need to tell Franco about the diamonds? She needed a friend that bad that she had to say, "Look, I have millions of dollars in my hand right now."
Yeah, I mean, I figure like the way that Liz is, she definitely got a big lesson. Like people who do not tell the truth end up paying the price. So and she knows, like, hey, I get these things. As much as one, it's great to stick it to Hayden. So that's definitely an incentive for Liz. She would love nothing more than to stick it to Hayden. But for her to know that those exist and not say anything, she knows that's only going to come back and bite her in the butt.
I feel like maybe by the time Hayden approached Liz, I'm wondering if I'm ready for this story to unfold with whatever is going on with these two, if they're sisters or not, or
Yes.
I wonder if that's gonna prevent Liz from turning in her sister.
Maybe. I'm hoping that this is another storyline that I would love just to hit the acceleration on. And it feels like what we saw at the end of this week, where finally Franco kind of walks in on a little bit of scene between Heather and Naomi about that, and Heather kind of starts to slowly kind of spill a little bit of what she knows to Franco. I'm hoping that means that we're going to start getting a revelation for this.
Right.
Because, I mean, like Naomi says to Hayden, like, is there any reason why you're staying here? Why don't you just come back to New York with me? Because there really is no reason for Hayden at this point.
Finn don't want her around, so if Finn don't want you around, honey, leave.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like they need one other reason for her to stick around. So just pull the trigger on this. Let us all find out that she's Liz's sister and have her be in town, and let's see what happens. That's right. They are sisters. I like that. They are very emphatic. They are sisters. Yes. But it's like, let's just do it. Let's get Liz and Hayden finally being acknowledged as sisters and see where that story goes.
It's going to be so fire.
Yes.
So good.
That's going to be a nice little not GH history. And plus give somebody in the moment to do something with it too as well. Because I feel like Liz and Hayden could both use a shot in armor, like a fun little storyline. Because the Liz and Franco thing, whatever. The less scenes that I get of her receiving toast from Franco with jelly faces on it, the better for me.
That was the cutest thing ever.
Oh, come on.
That was so cute. My heart dropped.
That was wasted because that toast was cold.
Oh my God, but it was still very cute because it had smiley faces on it.
But that toast was cold. That didn't mean anything.
Would you do that for me?
There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. You know that.
Whatever.
That's right. But you know what I do? See, I wouldn't be like Franco. I wouldn't just make little toast with little jelly faces
and
put
eggs in there.
I'd put eggs in there, but you know what I'd do? I'd be carrying it underneath on top of a little sterno thing, so it'd be constantly warm. So by the time it got to you, it'd be just as warm as when I made it, right there. As warm as the passion in my heart for you.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Whatever,
Boom. Ha. Linking it up here on
Linking
the
it up.
Oh, come on. The toast. Oh.
The toast was sweet.
Guys, I'm sorry. I got to disagree with you on the toast.
See, everyone, Sarah C. Toast was so cute. See?
Yeah, so Liz and Franco, when Franco gets a little scene with Nina up first at the beginning of the week, basically where she comes back to her old place.
That's
just
what
to collect
Michelle
her
was
stuff.
talking about when she was here, that they have an encounter.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I would love. Okay. I like Liz and Franco, but I just miss Nina and Franco too.
That's right, Practical Frank. Thank you, Susan. That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, because what was great about Nina is that she just accepted. I mean, other than this whole issue about wanting to be a father and having a baby, but other than that, just accepted Franco in his entirety. And unlike Liz, who keeps hemming and hawing, and even Franco just calls her out and says, "You either are in this or you're not. I just can't keep doing this back and forth." And so weird to see Franco being the sensible one in a conversation like that, because usually he's just more the impulsive, kind of reckless one. But he's like, "I can't keep doing this. You got to decide what's going on." So, I mean, in one sense, that's why I could see Nina and Franco as a better couple. They just embraced each other's kind of eccentricities.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, but it seems like Liz and Franco, I mean, they're going to be making a go at this. Hot dog. Hooray. More toasts for everybody. Oh, and their kisses were swoon-worthy. Oh, that was in regards to Lucky for Liz, please.
Yeah, for Franco and Liz.
So then we also have a little bit of Dr. Finn, Hayden, and Obrecht there. So Dr. Finn, that's another storyline that I am tired of as well, is Obrecht just on the hunt for
What
Finn.
is wrong with her?
Oh.
Like, she needs to be fired now. They demoted her, and now she needs to leave because she's invading personal privacy.
Yeah, it's just so irritating.
Why would you take his recording?
Oh yeah.
Are you that thirsty?
Man, that's just so annoying. And I did like Finn coming in like, if you try to pursue this with me, I'll kill you with my bare hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
And it felt like what I liked there is it seemed like Oprah had a moment of like, uh-oh, should I keep doing this or
Right.
not? Which I was like, finally, just even a
Let
glimmer
her
of you.
stop. Yeah.
Oh, please, because Oprah is such a.
I was annoyed with her from the beginning when she started the accusation. She just,
Yes,
to me, she just goes just a little bit overboard.
she does, and that's the least interesting thing about her character is when she just like so one note doggedly
Right.
pursues something.
Right.
Oh. But then you see like what the character is capable of when they do a scene between her and Nathan and they're talking and it's like, all right, you're showing me a real human being at that moment, and I'd rather see that relationship, and I enjoy those scenes. But when you are just like being a caricature with Dr. Finn and like being relentlessly just impractical and nonsensical in your pursuit of this guy, then that's the time where I'm like, enough with your character, please move on.
I see Toffler and this said Dr. O just wants Finn. I could totally see that. She probably do. She probably got the hots for him, to be honest.
Oh, well, there you go.
Maybe.
She likes those bad boys. I mean, after Phase On, I mean, she likes that little killerness inside a guy. Then let's see, what else we have in terms of this? Oh, we have a little bit of Curtis, but he basically just took Jordan home. Yeah, it's like, all right, not much for him this week. And I think that's pretty much about it this week. Look at that, man. A little hot.
We did it.
We did it. You didn't think it was possible.
I was a little nervous, y'all.
Come on now. You know you're in good hands. Look at that.
I was a little bit nervous, but we did it.
All right, so usually we do all our segments here, but since there's the two of us, we'll just be focusing on our two segments. And we're going to start off because, the beauty side of
You
this.
gotta have love first.
Yeah, little love in the
conquers
afternoon.
All. And this week we just talked about it actually. This week I loved that Franco stood his ground with Liz because I don't feel that she has the right to, tease him. Like 1 minute you're in his face, next minute you're like, I can't do this. I'm afraid. It's either you're gonna be afraid or you're gonna be with him because you're obviously giving him mixed signals. And I applauded him for like telling her, you're not gonna do this to me. And if you are, you could leave because I'm not gonna deal with it. That was my favorite part.
Look at that.
I love that this week.
And I think, and we've talked about this before with Franco, I just feel like at some point you need one of these relationships that he's in now to really go the distance. We need to see it evolve beyond just the dating stage. I think we, just to show that he can really be a real, ongoing, sustainable character.
The only thing that I oppose with Liz and Franco is I just don't understand how he said that he cannot be there. Like, sometimes I don't understand a man's logic when he said that he can't be there for the woman that, obviously wants him, which was Nina. But then you're willing to take on a whole big responsibility with another woman with children. Children. That's what I don't understand. Like, I like Liz and Franco, but if you're going to leave one woman because you say you can't do it, but then you're willing to take it on with somebody else, I don't understand that. And I probably will never understand it.
I don't know, because like Franco did have that one point of view where he did say it was easier for me to love you, Kiki, because I knew you weren't mine. I mean, he didn't know that right away. Originally, he thought he was, but like knowing that when she found out it was really Silas Clay's child, that he was the father of Kiki, he almost enjoyed that more because he could still be a father to her without any of that responsibility of knowing that it was his.
Yeah.
So
but, I mean, he didn't do, little cute toast for Nina, taking her, toast to her job or, you know what I mean? Like, you leave one good thing and then you do better for somebody else.
Well, yeah, but you know what
that didn't want you at first.
He made sweet, sweet love to her after she'd been in that coma for so long. Look at that. There you go.
No.
That's right. That's what he did. That was better. I bet he put a smile on his chest with jelly right there after that. So I could see like with Liz, maybe the same thing that he felt like with Kiki is that she's got 3 kids, and certainly Jake is one that he has the closest connection to. But it's a way to raise kids, but they're not his kids, so to speak. So he can still. I feel like he thinks that's better than him passing down to what he perceives as his kind of crazy DNA down to another child.
Right.
So whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But I just feel like if you're gonna set him up for this is gonna be his third relationship on the show. So you just can't keep him like get him into a relationship and then have things go crazy and then he just they take off. So I feel like he's gotta take one of these the distance. And I don't see like if he doesn't do it with Liz, like who else would he do it with? Unless he went back with Nina, I think.
I don't know. I see Mel said that. Mel said that Franco did bring Nina lunch. Yeah, you could bring somebody lunch, but it wasn't special. Like, he didn't put smiley faces on the lunch or, brought some flowers with the lunch. It's different.
No, that's like the least minimum amount of effort. I made some toast and I put a little jelly face on it. Come on now. And it's all cold.
The smallest effort is like the most adored.
Really?
Always remember that.
The smallest effort? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Don't buy a woman any flowers. Go pick some flowers and give it to her.
But wait till the last minute until you get to her doorstep and realize you didn't do it. Just grab anything you see around you. Just grab it. That's how you do it. So for me, it's always get him to the ER stat. And, I'm like a dead horse with this one. It's just basically the pacing on this show. This pacing of the show is killing me. And I will say one storyline that is getting me, and we talked a bit about it here already, is the Laura and Kevin. I was so excited about the potential for the storyline. I mean, I wanted this to happen. It was such a great, unexpected choice from the show, which was like, this is awesome. Thank you, GH. This is a character combination that I would not have thought of. It didn't come in, to the top of my head at all. But you did a great job of setting it all up and pulling it out like, yes, wow, thank you. That is such a great nod to history and a really cool, interesting character combination. And then you dragged it out with your slow pacing, and it took forever to really go anywhere. We barely saw them at all whatsoever. Right. And then now you do this reveal where he's been writing a novel based on Laura and what's been going on in her life. I just, as a way to kind of just cause some false drama in the relationship. And man, just forget it. This is such a, I don't know why they thought that this needed to happen this way.
Okay.
Yeah, without at least set it up. I would have loved if you could have done everything the way you did, and then have Laura leave the room all happy with a smile on her face, and then Kevin realizing like, oh man, what have I done? Right. I've got this whole book that I've written based on Laura, and I should have told her way sooner than this. But now we've already slept together. This is already man. Right. I would have loved to see that and see Kevin kind of wrestling with all of that. Right. And when's the right time to tell somebody after you've already slept with them, like, oh yes, by the way. I've also been writing this book based on your life. Sorry.
I agree.
But we didn't do that. So instead, now we've got them kind of just on a break right now. And now we have to watch sad mopey Kevin Collins like texting Laura.
Yeah, sorry.
Just give me another chance, please. Oh, that's not what I wanted out of this combination.
It's great when a man beg.
Really? No.
Yeah, it's great.
But in person or text?
In text.
All right. In person, it's not good. It's not that great?
No.
Gotcha. All right, because it's a lot of flap sweat and tears. Like, oh, please, baby, please. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. I know we thank you so much for joining in the chat, everybody. I know we didn't get a chance to get all of your phone calls today. Ladine and I were just loving the lengthness of this so much. We didn't get a chance to do this, but we loved having you in the chat room. We love hearing what you have to think about the show, and we'll see you back here next week. In the meantime, folks, again, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes. You did a great job of following us in the chat. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show is over, Ladine, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ladine_Harvey and Facebook at Ladine Corinthos Harvey. Next week, I have some really big news for you guys, so tune in next week.
Yes, look at that. You do not want to miss this announcement. It is a game changer. That's what I'm saying right there. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. I'm Frank Moran. This has been the GH Report, and we'll see you back here next week on AfterBuzz TV.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.